And hello. Welcome to episode 6 of the Ebbenflow podcast. My name is Ben, and today's topic is exercise. If you're watching the video version of this episode, you'll notice that I'm standing. I have a standing desk. And in the spirit of this topic, I'm going to be standing because I'm a little bit more mobile when I'm standing. I'm a little bit more expressive. I feel like when you're standing, you definitely have more range of motion to express yourself, not just through your voice, but through your body. You know, like when you're really excited and you're talking about something that you're passionate about and you're standing up, you're like, you're kind of moving around. You're kind of moving your body with the whatever topic is currently driving your passion, and it also gets expressed through your body. And when you're sitting down, you kind of have you'll have less range of motion to express yourself. Obviously, you can still be excited to talk about topics when you're sitting, and you might shimmy in your seat, or actually when you're sitting down, you have the opportunity to get up out of your chair if something like really excites you. But I guess the equivalent for standing and something exciting you that much would be like jumping. But I remember this one time I was at work, and one of my coworkers was on the phone with someone who was quite incompetent with his job, and the person who he was on the phone with said something that was like pretty obviously not correct in the world of IT, because that's where I work, in the world of technology. And then me and my other coworker, he was on speakerphone. We just jumped up out of our chairs and like, because it was just funny that he said something so blatantly incorrect. But it, that's how it be in at work. But I have strayed a little bit from the topic. Okay, exercise. I'm kind of just gonna go through my story of my relationship to exercise throughout my life. So I remember seeing like videos of me as like a toddler, just kind of running around, and I really liked jumping. I would see videos of myself as a small toddler just like jumping around, and I guess that was maybe like an early sign that like I was gonna have a bit of energy growing up. And then the first sport I got into was baseball. I got into baseball around probably like second grade, t-ball, the whole thing. I got into soccer as well. I enjoyed baseball more because in baseball, like, you can be competitive and aggressive, but kind of in your own lane. In soccer, you're kind of fighting against everyone else in real time for the ball. And I had confidence issues back then. And like, say if like the ball was like rolling to me in soccer, I wouldn't like be aggressive and like run towards it, because part of me, I was just like afraid of doing something wrong with the ball, and like having, obviously whoever has the ball has like the most attention from the spectators, and so like I was gonna have a lot of attention if I had the ball, and then if I messed up with the ball, I would fear myself being judged by the spectators. But in baseball, it's just you at the plate, and when you are fielding the ball, you're defending, it's just you that's handling the ball. So I think that aspect of baseball is kind of what drew me towards it closer than soccer. yeah, so I did the t-ball thing, and then I kind of stopped maybe around like third grade, um, and stopped soccer too because I really just didn't like it. And I remember I had a pretty high tempered soccer coach, and he would get pissed off if you weren't attacking the ball aggressively. So I remember getting yelled at by my coach, and that turned me away from soccer as well. Um, but then in fourth grade, yeah, fourth or fifth, I got into track and cross country. Um, I really enjoyed cross country because again, it was more of an individual kind of sport. It's just you're the only one that's running. I mean, you're racing other people in races, but it's not like you're, I mean, you could be fighting for first place or whatever, but it's really just you running. And I like that. I don't know why I like running. I still run a lot to this day. But yeah, I enjoy cross country. And track. Track less so, because again, when you're the only one racing, like, I think it was like an attention thing for me. Like, I had a lot of attention on myself when I am running track because there's only 8 people per heat running per race, and everyone else in the stands and the bleachers are watching those 8 people running. So I actually gravitated more towards field. Track and field, they go together. And field is like, I got into shot put and long jump. I tried high jump, but this wasn't for me. I really liked something about the long jump, like taking that stride and just launching myself into the sand. Always enjoyed that. And then shot put, that was cool too. Because I feel like I was able to generate a lot of power with my body, and I liked the idea of like channeling all of your power into a focus point. So that focus point would be your one hand that has the shot put or the ball, and it just launches right out of your hand. So yeah, I did cross country and track and field until 7th, 8th grade. Well, I'm kind of just going through like my grade school, high school phase right now. So in grade school, I think I quit cross country before 8th grade. And I also played like fall ball in baseball for a little bit. But in 8th grade, I actually picked up another sport, lacrosse, through again my friend Anthony, my best friend from home. And yeah, I was playing for his league, which wasn't like the school that I was going to. I don't think the grade school I went to had lacrosse, but I actually got really into lacrosse. What did I like about lacrosse? It was a lot. I felt like it was just a lot different than your like conventional sport, because like you had the stick and the ball, and like the methods of just the way the game was played, cradling the ball and like dodging people if you're an attack. And I was never really good at shooting, but I enjoyed like throwing and catching lacrosse balls. And yeah, it was really good exercise. Obviously that's, so the topic of this episode is exercise, and I'm like currently expressing my journey of exercise through sports, because sports are exercise. It's movement. And so, okay, yeah, lacrosse in 8th grade, which translated to lacrosse in high school. Also, I tried cross country out again in high school because my older sister did cross country. And she loved it. And she was like known throughout the team. And I remember in 8th grade, actually, the high school cross country team would go on a trip. So to like run a race, and the one when I was in 8th grade, they went to Boston. So I actually went up with my parents to watch that race, and that's what kind of introduced me to the high school cross country team. So yeah, I ended up joining freshman year, and I enjoyed freshman year a lot more than sophomore year, because this is kind of a whole nother topic, but I enjoyed high school up until halfway through freshman year, and then after that, like, I really disliked my experience, everything about high school, the lacrosse and cross country, just my whole situation. I did not enjoy it. And yeah, I guess cross country, like, I didn't really find my group of friends in high school. And in lacrosse, I was bullied, like, pretty heavily. So obviously I wasn't finding my people there. But there were a couple nice people that actually, like, kept me playing lacrosse up until senior year. I played lacrosse all 4 years of high school, and I quit cross country sophomore year. But yeah, I feel like I'm veering away from the topic of exercise, but I mean, cross country and lacrosse are like I would get such good exercise in every time I trained for either sport. Cross country, we would train in the summer before the season, and I just remember, like, sweating so much. I would sweat like a motherfucker in cross country training during the summer, and it was the best feeling when I got back from practice and I was at my parents' house and they had a pool, so I just jump in the pool afterwards, and oh my god, it was heavenly experience, because it's such a good workout too, you know. I've also always been like a sweaty person, so anytime I got a good sweat in, like, I would really sweat, and just that whole process of, like, detoxing, it feels so good, and I love it still to this day. Same thing with lacrosse. Lacrosse, we had a trainer. We would do conditioning practice, and we would lift weights as well. And that's actually my first foray into lifting weights was lacrosse. And we would do basic workouts in the high school gym, and I didn't know what I was doing, but it did get me familiar with the gym and with lifting weights, which was great, because we are now transitioning to college. I went to the gym quite often in college because, well, I say I went to the gym. I started going to the gym regularly probably towards the end of sophomore year of college. But rewinding a little bit, freshman year of college, I knew I wasn't going to do cross country, and I was done with both of those sports by college. But I had always been interested in ultimate frisbee, because I always thought I threw a frisbee pretty well. But I never, something like wanted me to get better at throwing a disc frisbee, and something about ultimate frisbee seemed like it would be like a lot more chill sport than cross country and lacrosse. So I signed up for ultimate frisbee in like the activities fair in one of the first weeks of freshman year. And the first practice was like every freshman who signed up there was like 150 people there. And so obviously the team can't be 150 people big, like as big as that. So I was in my mind thinking, oh, there's going to be cuts, you know, like I'm going to have to make it through everyone trying out in order to be on the team. I didn't know at the time the Frisbee team didn't have cuts, but obviously 150 people, not everyone was going to look to be as serious about it, I think. So during the tryout, the quote unquote tryouts, I had worked my ass off. I hustled just trying to get on the team. And I remember getting my first invite. I got invited to the first tournament for the team, which was like the most exciting thing ever. I was like, holy shit, I got invited to a tournament. And then I slept through it. I slept through the first tournament for Frisbee. But like I emailed the president at the time and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I slept through. I'll make it up. I will practice extra hard in the next practices. I hope I'm just really sorry and I apologize for this. And the president after the tournament emailed me back and he was like, dude, it's fine. Like I sleep through tournaments too. Like it's okay. And I was like, oh shit, okay. Like this is chill. Like the president is like of the club is chill and I've been liking everyone on the team so far. And yeah, little did I know Ultimate Frisbee would be one of the best decisions I have ever made was to join the team. Because I'm still really good friends with a lot of people on the team to this day. I just went to a wedding last week with someone that I met through playing Ultimate Frisbee. And I think one part that I really liked the most was the degree of seriousness with which the team took playing. Meaning that we practiced hard and we were good. In our league, we would win 97, 98% of our games. And it made sense because our practice regimen was tough. If you think Frisbee is like a dilly-dally kind of sport, it's not. There is a certain degree of athleticism that you have to maintain in order to be competitive at the sport. And this, yeah, let's talk about like throwing too. So like throwing the disc, I had never been so amazed when I went to the first practice and the seniors and the juniors on the team were like whipping the discs and throwing them perfectly. No wobble. It didn't turn over. It wouldn't fly off to the side. It would be like a straight laser exactly to the target that they were intending to throw to. And it blew my mind. And I wanted to throw like that. And I would say it took about 2.5 years for me to get to that point where I was throwing consistently like straight towards targets that I had intended. And that felt really good. It felt really good to be excellent at something. I feel like Frisbee was the first sport that I actually had a passion for. And just seeing my journey of how I was able to throw, read the field, and throw to teammates that were open downfield, and then throw to teammates that were running downfield and whipping the disc in front of them so that they could run and catch it. That's a great feeling. And on the defensive side, there is one position called deep that is like the commander pretty much of the defense. because they are the furthest back from the disc in the field, so they can see everybody. And what's happening is the deep is kind of directing the other defenders where to go, and keeping they have to be really good at communicating where the defender should go based on where the disc is. So you need to have a lot of field awareness. You need to be paying attention to everything that's going on in the game. And I'm not going to toot my horn, but I got pretty good at it. I got pretty good at being a deep. Because not only for my field awareness, but my height and my just the way my body is built. I'm tall and I have long arms. So if the opposing team were to throw a disc downfield, and I'm also pretty fast, so I have all of the qualities to chase the disc and deflect it away from the intended receiver. And honestly, like, my junior year was like the peak. I'd say junior and senior year was definitely, obviously I peaked in the leagues those years, but like junior year, our team went on to a regional division championship and we got placed 11th. But before that was like a local conferences tournament and we advanced forwards. And you know, I was starting. I was like on the starting line towards the end of junior year, and in senior year I would be on the starting line on the A team. And like winning tournaments, we won a good amount of tournaments and felt good. It felt good because like if you're the deep, like the main deep, and your team wins the tournament, you're kind of like the best deep in that league. So, oh God, this is a lot of ego building, is like, this is just like, oh my God, look how great I am. I'm good at this shit. It's just something that I was interested in. It was part of my path, and they're good memories to look back on. But it's not me. It's not the full Frisbee. Is not the full complete picture of me. I had, moved on. And to talk a little bit about the exercise of Frisbee, like, I went hard. You're doing these agility training drills. You're, like the step ladders where you're shuffling through the ladders. I mean, we put in so much time and practice into, like, we were a winning team because of the time and the athleticism that we developed through our practices. And I would get really good sweats in too. I remember being so sweaty, running around on the field. You can dive on the field too, so you're getting dirty, you're sweating. And in the off season of Frisbee, which was not that off, which was like maybe 2 or 3 months of the whole school year, and sometimes in between practices, I would go to the gym. So in addition to practicing, I did spend a good amount of time at my university gym. And that's where I really found like a workout routine. I would go to the gym and run on the treadmill. I would do a 5K, and then I would lift a bunch of weights, and the free weights, and then I would finish off with machines. And I did that quite often. And then obviously when it wasn't school, when it was the summer and I was at home, I had a gym membership and would do the same thing. Would go on the treadmill, then go to the free weights, and then finish on the machines. I would do a lot of ab exercises too. So I got a little bit into like the protein shake type stuff too, but yeah, I've been like pretty active my whole life. And I know the kind of the other side of the exercise coin is diet. And I remember, I mean, the diet I can talk about in a different episode, but I was in the mentality for most of my life that as long as I exercise, I could eat whatever I want. And I pretty much ate like shit up until kind of last year, to be honest. Is when I started like finding a diet that was like suited, really, that was really working for me. But that's another episode. So let's talk about a little bit after college and where I am now. So after college, I continued playing frisbee for about 3 years in the leagues in Philly, where I currently live. And then I had stopped. I was like trying to get into more competitive leagues, but the more competitive you get, the more serious it is. And the first reason why I got into frisbee to begin with was to have fun. And I just wasn't having fun anymore. So I had 7 years in frisbee. And at this time, you know, I was in listening to the Dualistic Unity podcast. I met Ray, who's one of the hosts, and he talks about Wing Chun a lot. I had always been interested in martial arts. So that was my next thing. After my last season in frisbee, literally a month later, I started practicing martial arts, Wing Chun specifically. And what I really like Wing Chun and martial arts, because in Wing Chun especially, it's fast, and it's the basis of Wing Chun is to be relaxed. Because if you're not relaxed, you're not really paying attention to your environment, and you're likely to get hit. Not that getting hit's a bad thing, like nothing more natural than getting hit, but it teaches you like a sensitivity to the situation. And also like just moving, I've moved my body in Wing Chun in ways that I've never moved my body before. And it's really cool to see that your body can do so much more than what you think it can do. And like I'm really excited. Like I wanna learn so many physical things. Like I think I would take up salsa dancing at some point. That sounds really fun. But yeah, I did Wing Chun for it was almost gonna be 2 years in November, but life is changing. My Sifu, or my instructor, actually passed away a couple months ago. So the school is closing down, the Wing Chun school, which is good timing because I'm moving out anyway. But even before, another endeavor of exercise that I've gained a passion for is yoga. I started doing yoga when I met someone who had did like the 200-hour training, or was an instructor at a music festival. She was really into yoga, and I was sort of already getting into it, but like meeting her, and I had I was very infatuated with her. So I got into yoga even more, and kind of been doing that since I met that person in 2022. So yeah, my outlook on exercise has also changed a lot. In that I used to kill myself at the gym, like especially in college. I remember if I wasn't fucking exhausted and sweating my dick off by the end of the gym session, I didn't have a good workout. That's just how I would judge my workouts. And I've definitely changed my perspective on it. You don't need to sweat profusely and you don't need to be exhausted in order to have a good workout. Something that I really enjoyed, that I had learned to enjoy, was walking. Actually, I used to think like, oh, walking is just for old people, and adults, and there's nothing really that beneficial to walking. Turns out I fucking love walking now. I had an electric scooter that I would zip around the city with, but that actually got stolen, and it kind of forced me to walk everywhere. But I had learned, like, I had the electric scooter because I wanted to go places fast. But then I realized that why am I rushing? Like, why can't I just sit back and enjoy the walk and enjoy the thoughts that come with it? So I go on walks every day. One, because it's good exercise, and two, I get to go outside. I love being outside. I've been outside the last year or two way more than I feel like I have been in my life, because there's a lot of other benefits, like the sun, being in the sun. Again, it's probably another episode. But yeah, walking. And I've gotten into slacklining as well. I learned to slackline in my trip to Costa Rica, and I haven't slacklined at all this year, actually, but I did have a phase, and I'd like to get back into it at some point. I got into rock climbing as well. I have rock climbing shoes. That rock climbing is really cool, and since I kind of have a tall frame, I'm pretty like well suited to be a rock climber. Obviously hiking is incredible for health and mental health. Oh my goodness, I haven't talked about like the mental benefits of exercise. So what I'm doing right now, actually what I just did today, was something called Animal Flow. And Animal Flow is like yoga, but it kind of combines primal movements in it, and it's just like a really fun way to move your body and get a good exercise in. So I just did an Animal Flow before jumping on this podcast, and I mean, afterwards, like, I just mentally felt like so relaxed and really clear, present, because I think exercise is one of the best medicines, not just physically, but mentally. If you're just drowning in thoughts and you're getting really caught up in the idea of you, it can be a beneficial practice to exercise. You don't have to do something crazy. You can just go on a walk, or you just do some light yoga, or just some stretching, honestly. I don't know if, like, I think stretching is exercise, but I'm not sure about that. But it's definitely good to stretch. And yeah, I was gonna say something else too, but I kind of forget. Oh, in terms of like the physical benefits, I also disc golf as well. So, but yesterday I was disc golfing, and some of the hills on the course, like, you have to walk up the hills. Disc golfing is a lot of walking. When I was going through the course, I realized about halfway through, wait, I'm not tired at all. Like, I'm walking up these hills, I'm doing, the whole course, and I remember, like, I would be out of breath by some of the time I had finished walking up the hill. And I don't get tired anymore, because I really feel like everything I've been doing to improve my health is just adding up. And it's really cool to see the like how much you can do with your body when you exercise. It's really good for longevity as well. And I thought about like being jacked, getting like that huge jacked gym body. I've had thoughts about that too, but I mean, especially when I played frisbee, I kind of made this decision like I'd really like to be fast and functional rather than just have um the looks of like a gym rat. So, I'm not like super huge muscular, but I'm pretty mobile, I'm pretty agile, and that's the kind of body that I want in order to take me through the life that I am building right now. So yeah, I think I've covered everything. I really love exercise. I think it's medicine, honestly. It's probably one of the best medicines for physical ailments and mental ailments as well. Highly recommend exercising. And if you don't know what you want to do, just try a bunch of shit. Like that's kind of what I did. Like I just went to all these different routes of physical activity, and I'm currently enjoying a good amount of them right now. And it's always subject to change. I could enjoy a completely different set of sports in 5 years than what I enjoy now, but I think I'm always going to enjoy moving my body. And because what I like to do in life requires athleticism, and I I think it's one of my passions on it to be fit and to be healthy. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for now. I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like I just talked about exactly what I said I was going to talk about, which is my journey into exercise. And I think I'm going to rename the episode Exercise and Sports because I talked a lot about sports too. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.